Stuck at 80%? Here's the math to get to 90 and maybe 100. Real VA disability call.
The call here is really designed to answer all of your questions. So a couple ways we can do that is if you've got questions right off the rip, we can get right to them. If you don't, I can kind of lay it all out for you, give you an overview, and tell you what's what. Yep. Okay. They make it hard. Oh, great. Correct. Yeah, correct. No, we have our own network of doctors. Yeah, it is. I've got you, man. I got you. I'll send you a couple of ways to get an intent to file started. One is I'll send you a YouTube video that kind of walks you through it on actually how to file a whole claim on va.gov. But I also give you a phone number here on how to just call the VA and say, hey, I want to start a notice of intent to file. So I'll send that email to you now. I got you covered. Yeah, so then, go ahead. Okay. Yeah, so before I do, the intent to file is in your best interest. It starts the back pay clock is what that does. So getting that started probably take you about 15 minutes. And then your payment would start from today. So if it takes you a month to get through working with me, and then it takes the VA like 2 months to decide your claim, now you're going to get 3 months of back pay. So that's why the intent to file is important. Okay, got it. All right, so how we work is this. So we're 100% telemedicine or telehealth. So you will be seeing our doctors. What kicks it off is I'm about to send you an email that has a link to our webpage. So if you decide to go forward with us, you click on that link, you put the medical evidence you want us to write for you in your shopping cart, and then you check out. So that's when you'd pay. And then you're presented with a calendar, and you're able to schedule your telehealth visit with one of my doctors. So it'll be, a calendar, and you'll be able to do it from whenever, or wherever is convenient for you. It's just a phone call or a video call. So as long as you can talk in private, you can get it done from anywhere. So schedule it at your convenience. And then you'll have the telehealth conference with one of my doctors, and then he'll write you the medical evidence that you paid for. It's going to take him about 3 to 5 business days to do that. So plan on about a week. And then he delivers that evidence package to you, and then you submit that to the VA, however you typically submit claims. If that's an issue, I sent you that YouTube video on how to submit your own claim, so I got you covered with that. But you submit your own claim. My process does take about 3 to 6 weeks to get through, and that whole time I'm your single point of contact. So if you ever need anything, you just text me or email me. And then when you win, you do keep everything on the back end. So reasonably, this claim should take you to 90, possibly 100. Depends on what you want to work together on. Like if you want to do the headaches claim, that would take you from 80 to 90. So that bump in pay is probably $400 or $500 a month bump. So you'll keep all that. We don't see any of that increase in pay. Same thing with your back pay. If you're getting 4 or 5 months of back pay there, that's all you, man. It goes straight to your bank account. We don't see any of it. Yeah. Yeah. So on the mental health, you're already at 50. So moving you to 70 is probably the realistic goal. If you wanted to pursue that, I'll support it. I don't know you very well, Cesar. We've only been talking for about 10 minutes, but I doubt you'd qualify for the 100% on mental health. So there is a little bit of a juice to squeeze kind of thing, because you're at 50 and you're aiming for 70. So it's a 20% bump, and it is substantial, but it's not your highest lever. So we could absolutely work on that. But the migraines is probably, you'd likely win that at 50, whereas the mental health, you're only getting a 20% bump. So we could do both, and that would help take you to 100, closer to 100 for sure, but 90 at the minimum. And then the rhinitis, you're already at 10. So if the way to qualify for 30 is if you have polyps. Yeah. If you haven't been diagnosed with any polyps, you probably don't want to pursue going forward with that claim, because it goes from 10 to 30. And in order to qualify for 30, you've got to have polyps or surgery. I think so. Let me just pull up the CFR real quick and read to you what they say for the 30% rating for rhinitis. Now, the CFR is the Code of Federal Regulations. That's the rule book at the VA. And that's what I'm pulling up now, so I can kind of just read what they say qualifies for a 30% rating. Yeah, it just says with polyps. So for 10%, you already qualify for that. So yeah, to qualify for 30, it says with polyps. So I would think you would know if you had those. Yeah, so that happened to me. Like I bought my package too, because what had happened was like the whole time I was in the Air Force, I never went to sick call, right? And then as a civilian, I never went to see my doctor for headaches. I just took Excedrin, self-medicated, right? So I ended up buying the same evidence package you're able to buy. I bought that. And so we're able to diagnose you with either migraines or headaches and any variant that you suffer from. Like I get cluster headaches. That's what I get. So, or cluster migraines. So they come in threes, basically. So I got that variant. And then we also write you the Nexus letter that connects the headaches on a secondary basis. For you, it would be tinnitus, PTSD, sleep apnea, and rhinitis. Right? We'd write the headaches secondary to all four. For me, it was just tinnitus. And then you also get the DBQ, which outlines the severity and frequency of your attacks. So that's what gets you that 50% award if you qualify for it. So then we'd be able to diagnose you, provide you the Nexus letter and the DBQ, all for that $847 price. If you have something that supports headaches, you'll have a secure folder on our website. You'll be able to upload that medical documentation. But like I didn't have anything. The only thing I submitted with my claim was what I bought. Yeah, so it was a video conference. I just talked to a doctor over the phone, and then I had my CMP exam. It was a video conference too. I never actually had to travel for that whole claim. Pretty sweet. No, so the CMP exam is a formality on the VBA's part. So we're dealing with the VBA, right? Veterans Benefits Administration. What you get from us is a fully developed claim. It's everything they need to decide your claim. They don't need to order a CMP exam, but they do anyway because they're bureaucrats. Now, I've seen the claim decided with just our medical evidence, but it's rare. It's like 1 out of 50 that happens for. So I would plan on having a CMP exam, but that'll be through the VA's doctors. Great move. So if you did that, let's just see so right now you're at 79%. So you're at 79%, right? Yeah, 50, 50, 10 and 10. Yep. So 79.8%. Now, if you were to move your mental health from 50 to 70, that takes you to 90 right there by itself. So you'd be at 87.8. And then when the headaches also at 50% takes you to 93.9. So you're still at 90 either way. And at that point, you basically need 20% to go to 100. So you'd still be looking at at least one other claim to get to 100, but those two would help you along the way for sure. Now, if you didn't want to do the mental health and just leave that at 50 and go after the migraines, that still takes you to 90. Yeah, it'd take you to 89.9, correct. So then you still need basically 60% to go to 100, but that mental health with that 20 there, if you were able to win that at 70, then that leaves you only need 20%. It is a big mover actually. Yep, okay. So we can work with you on that. It'd be the same package as the migraines. So it'd be the diagnosis service. It's another $847 charge. We could diagnose you with it, provide you with the DBQ and the Nexus letter, likely connecting the GERD to the exact same things, PTSD and the rhinitis, maybe the sleep apnea too. Yeah, that's your biggest bang for the buck, for sure. So yeah, then try to move the mental health from 50 to 70 is a good move at that point. And then going after the GERD as well would be the kind of the finishing move there to finish you off. You need everything to go your way on that. So it's really tight with those. Just migraines is your big mover, but the mental health and the GERD, you need everything to go your way in order to get you to 100. It'll be a battle. Migraines is pretty. No one's dunking on the VA, so I won't say it's easy, right? But migraines is your big mover. That would definitely take you to 90 if you win it at anything above 30. So that's a, like you said, that's a for sure deal. Then you've got to answer that question yourself. Do I want to go after the mental health? Do I want to go after the GERD? Am I stuck at 90? Those are the real conversations that you're having with yourself before you spend the money. If you think you deserve the 100, there's a path there, but you absolutely need everything to go your way. Oh, okay. So 17 plus 850, so you're at 20, about 2,500. Yes, sir. Correct. Now you can do one at a time, but yeah, it would be before, each time before you see the doctor, you'd be paying that fee. Nope, not at all. Our time frame is your time frame, so whatever makes sense for you, that's what we'll do. So that's why get your intent to file going now, so that you start accumulating those funds, and then if it takes you a month or two or whatever to get the 2,500 together, then you'll be ready to go, and you'll already have that intent to file clicking, right? So the timeline is yours. Absolutely. There's no time frame on it from our end. Oh, sure. Yeah. Anytime you file a claim, the knife cuts both ways. You can absolutely be reduced. So you've got to protect yourself. Now, the VA pays you for your worst day, right? So if you go in there and today is a pretty good day and you're like sunshine and lollipops, yeah, there's a chance they could reduce you for sure. But I mean, most vets don't do that. Most vets realize that, if my worst day wouldn't have happened because I served in the U.S. military, then that's the day I want to talk about, because that's what they owe me for. So as long as you go in with kind of that mindset, it's not a 0% chance, but it's a very, very low chance that they're going to reduce you. Now, the one thing I will say, like if you didn't touch the mental health at all and just went after migraines and GERD, nobody that you see for migraines or GERD is qualified to talk to you about your mental health. So there's no reasonable expectations they would reduce you on that at that point. But I mean, that's kind of neither here nor there if you're trying to get it increased from 50 to 70. The advantage of working with our shrink is that, they give you a practice run. So we'll screen you before you get together with our doc. And then that screening gives them the basis for the questions. Then when they're asking you the questions during the session, you're going to get an idea of how to talk about these symptoms, how they've impacted your life, how to really talk about them accurately in a language that the VBA is looking for. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I will send you the 2 emails then, so you'll have those. It'll be the screener for the headaches and then the mental health evaluation, or the link to our website. So you'll have that, and you can get started whenever it makes sense for you. And then I sent you another email that just has, it's called a resources link email, and it basically outlines how to start your intent to file and how to file your own claim. I'm using va.gov. Or if you wanted to find a VSO, I've got you covered on that too. Yeah, so the VSO is a veteran service organization or a veteran service officer. So these are guys like the DAV, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the VFW, those types of guys. Yeah, so they are accredited by the VA. They're allowed to coach you and submit your own claim. So I can't do either one of those. Or just the medical evidence company. So yeah, you could work with us and a VSO if you wanted to, for sure. So I sent you a link on how to find a VSO in your area, if that's something you want to explore. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, good man. Yeah, you definitely want to run it by your family CFO. I know how it works. Same way around here. So, all right, man. Well, any other questions before we end? Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. Well, if you think of any questions, just hit me up, okay? Text or email. Both work. All right. Say sorry. Thank you for the time today, man. Have a good weekend. Okay. And that veteran has been stuck at basically 80. You saw his calculation chart there I had on the screen. I just really hadn't thought of pursuing anything. Just kind of was okay with 80. And he had a vet buddy of his that was saying, hey, you need to go get this, right? That money's just sitting there rotting. And if you don't go get it, it goes to waste. And then his vet buddy had referred him to us. And so he was exploring, are we a good fit? So it seems like we are. It's going to be tight for him. I mean, 90 is pretty attainable with what I saw on his intake form. 100 is going to be, he needs everything to go his way. Just absolutely needs everything to kind of fall his way to get to 100. So, he's going to see what we can do and go from there. So on to the next one.